all this ivory. It's supposed to look like lace. Okay, I know I'm near the butterfly. Kind of looks like a heart. And these main sections are like bricks for me. And I've got the diamonds and the ovals. And I am by the top or the side of an oval. Egads, I haven't seen this piece for a while. It's so dirty. Oh, I don't sit down with my hands dirty. I don't think, but they are. Oils on them. And then time, they yellow like baby clothes when you take them out years later. Today in Olympic sports, let's see, we saw fencing, handball. Eric was watching water polo late this morning. A little bit of boxing, like the setup and then into the rings, but I didn't watch the outcome. I was sewing. I saw quite a bit of beach volleyball, off and on swimming, BMX racing. The stadium was neat for it, and then 3x3 basketball. That was cool. Visiting this stitching really makes me want to stay with it for a bit and get back to it. It is one of those projects that needs outlining, and I love to save that for last. I'm showing my finger. I have large hands, and I do like to have my middle finger always back there, feeling that I don't have a knot mass. What's up with this sharp needle? Where did I get this? I don't even have Here's one right here. We'll break this one out. I don't know what it was from. I think I will try a proper blunt head needle. This is too sharp. These DMC 24s, new package. Also, no. The difference. Yeah, we're going you. Right now in the other room, visible over my shoulder, is fencing. The referees do interesting adjudications as far as their body signals. Interesting. Okay, so here's the butterfly. Here's this whole thing. We are currently working on the edge of this frame up here. So I need to do another one up above it and then 4 over, and then I think we'll call it. Oh, nice. Oh, it goes in beautifully. Yes, very good. When they're sharp, I am goofball Ada lover. They do tend to scrape up a little bit of the side walls, and on proper linens, not through the open between the weave. Sometimes they scrape just barely a little of the warp or the woof, and it shows just slightly that you weren't in the proper open weave of the what is the word? I don't want to say hole. Okay, so there we go. Oh, I love this needle is working beautifully. Thank you, proper cross stitch needle. All right, I'm not parking it there as I am prone to do. We will do that and say goodbye to this until the next time I put it on let's work on it. Thank you. Walking foot on the baby boy quilt I'm currently working on for Santiago Luis. And here later I was using my stitch regulator and my movement frame. Well, hello there. It's August 1st. It's my little sister's birthday, as a matter of fact. We are working on our oldest whips. This is my oldest project bag that I was talking about. I bought it at Michael's in probably the early 90s, maybe middle 90s. And as I was showing you, it's the Art of Tea. Why do I always get a frog in my throat when I go to video? Dimensions. And I believe it's 2006. 16. But you can see that it's been on travels with me long and wide. And this has held many a project over the years. It even has some stuff in there that's been debated on whether or not to do it. But so there you go. I'm wearing my denim blue because today in my lesson planning for my stitch journal, I wanted to share with you a big aha that I had on a trip that I took with 2 students, a brother and a sister, my mother-in-law, my husband, and myself. We took a student tour, Explorica, from Rome, and we drove the highway right next to the Mediterranean that has a jillion tunnels up on the hillside overlooking the Mediterranean. We even went to Monaco and finished in Barcelona. It was just beautiful, and that's an Olympic city. We went to the Olympic Stadium there. It was so, in like my eyes, compared to the Coliseum, LA Coliseum, rather tight, small. But I'm sure they got everybody in there. And when was that? I think 92. But Barcelona is beautiful. It reminds me very much of like San Diego, just so ocean, Caribbean like. So we were on this trip in a coach with 38 other people. And we're cruising that highway, and we get into France, and we get up into what is the Provence, and we stop for lunch a long lunch in a place called Nimes. And there is, as I heard about in Paris, there's very little Roman ruins there, although the Romans were there. I think it's belongs to a church in Paris that you can see what's left of any Roman ruins. Otherwise, it's just the setup, the geography of it that is very Roman. But we stopped in Nimes and had a beautiful lunch that was part of the trip. And then we were in a park where there was a lovely carousel and rode the carousel. And then across the way, not too far away, was this Colosseum. Like, not the size of the Roman Colosseum, but a third, good size Colosseum. And it was just fantastic. They allowed us, they had us go in, they gave us a self-tour audios, and we walked around. They had scaffolding and risers for seating because the ruins are pretty rustic. You can't possibly assign people seats on what's left of it. So they put up scaffolds and put up seats on there, and it works nicely. And I wrote down, like I searched, like what was the season in 2015 when we were there. And when you see the stage and the photos I'm showing you, they were setting up for Christopher Cross and Toto the week we were there. But they had Pharrell Williams, Johnny Halliday, Nicki Minaj, my husband's favorite, Big Sean, Lenny Kravitz, Santana, Lionel Richie, Sting, Ayo, and Joan Baez. So quite a season at that Coliseum looked like to me in the middle of nowhere. Very rural. Nimes is a pretty good sized city. And when I was reading up on the history of it, manufacturing wise, it was Paris, Lyon, and Nimes for fabrics, silks and wool. And then to make a long story short, this very famous fabric weave that they were creating that was so strong for hardworking folks to wear as pants, Levi Strauss went over and investigated. And sure, when he went over there, it wasn't cotton denim. It was wool and silk of that area. And of course, silk, if you make something of silk, it's going to be so hardy with that wool. And wool, I know it sounds itchy and it sounds hot, but we learned in Scotland from the folks who wear a lot of wool that wool actually breathes. It's not what you think, so hot. That's what they said. So the story goes that when Levi Strauss went over there and looked into what was so famous since the late 1600s with this fabric, coming out of there, we got to figure that out. And then of course Levi Strauss comes back and makes our denim jeans. And the cotton for him, he did not use wool and silk because here in the States, that is not something that is in the forests or in the fields for us. We are not raising a ton of sheep here in at least San Francisco area. So he used cotton from South Carolina, I believe I read, and Georgia. So the point is, our denims are called denim, it is believed, because it is de Nîmes. It is of Nimes. And jeans comes to us from what the French call sailors who wore the pants that were so strong from Genoa, Italy. mostly that would come to France, and they'd refer to them as jeans. Those sailors from Genoa, jeans. So just goes to show you where our language derivation comes from. Denim is from Nimes, and it was serge de Nimes, a twill weave fabric of wool and silk from the 1600s. 1500s it actually started. When we were driving around, there was not any sign of what I thought of should be grown, cotton, and he said that that wasn't something that they used back then. But the manufacturing plants that created the fabric to create denim, the fabric twill of Nimes, there isn't a single factory left. It's all changed, and it is not the center of manufacturing fabrics or a huge center of industry like it was back in the 1700s. So that's my story. Here's some photos. Thanks for being here. Gotta go to Mexican dinner tonight, you know. But wait, there's more. I spent a bunch of time with my binding, and then today quilting up this baby quilt, yes, with a walking foot, and my stitch regulator. Do I have it upside down? Here we go. So there you go. And the backing is a splash of yellow, I think batik. So that's why I chose to go with the gold, to bring the elements of gold in the artwork forward. Okay? Thanks for being here. See you again tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Beach volleyball. Okay. I gotta get that out. I can't think of what I'm doing. Okay. Here we are, dropped off curbside at LAX, and we flew into Rome, went through Florence and Pisa, went through Enza and Nice, Côte d'Azur, and then through Nimes to Barcelona. Here's the Colosseum in Nimes, the theater, through some of the corridors, ancient as they are, built in 100 AD. You see the scaffolding, the bleachers around us on the ruins to hold audience members. I'm not sure how many it holds. Have a good day. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. My pleasure. Go put on some jeans, shorts.